October 25th, 1415, northern France. Imagine standing on a rain-soaked field just after sunrise. The ground beneath your boots is thick with mud. Ahead of you stretches a narrow valley where one of the most shocking battles of the Middle Ages is about to unfold. On one side stand the French, around 25,000 soldiers, knights in expensive armor, noblemen from powerful families, veterans of war, men who believe victory is already theirs. They outnumber their enemy by more than 4 to 1. They are fighting on home soil. They are well supplied. And across from them stands an English army that looks barely capable of surviving. Roughly 6,000 men. Most are longbowmen. Many are exhausted. Many are sick. Disease has ravaged the army for weeks. Food is running low. Their king, Henry V, is suffering from illness himself. To the French, this doesn't look like a battle. It looks like the final destruction of a beaten enemy. Some nobles are already imagining the glory they will gain. Others are thinking about prisoners and ransoms. Few doubt the outcome. But by the end of the day, thousands of French soldiers will be dead. Many of the most powerful nobles in France will never leave the field. The English will suffer only a fraction of those losses. So how did this happen? How did a starving army defeat one of the strongest military forces in Europe? Why did heavily armored knights become trapped in conditions they could not escape? And why did the French walk directly into a disaster of their own making? To understand Agincourt, we need to go back a few months. England and France had been fighting for generations in what we now call the 100 Years' War. Both kingdoms claimed lands and rights that the other refused to surrender. By 1415, England had suffered years of political troubles and economic hardship. Launching a major invasion of France seemed incredibly risky. Yet Henry V believed a successful campaign could restore English prestige and strengthen his rule. In August of that year, he crossed into France and laid siege to the port city of Harfleur. Eventually, the city fell, but the victory came at a terrible cost. Disease spread through the English camp. Dysentery killed hundreds of soldiers. Others became too weak to continue. The longer the siege lasted, the smaller Henry's army became. By October, the campaign was falling apart. Continuing deeper into France was impossible. The only realistic option was to march north toward Calais, an English stronghold on the coast. The French immediately recognized their opportunity. Rather than allowing Henry to escape, they gathered a massive army to block his path. Thousands of knights, men-at-arms, cavalry, crossbowmen, archers, an overwhelming force determined to destroy the English once and for all. But numbers were not the only motivation. France still remembered earlier defeats at Crécy and Poitiers. Those battles had humiliated French nobility decades earlier. Now, many believed they finally had a chance to erase those memories. As Henry marched toward Calais, the French moved ahead and cut off his route. The English king was trapped. The confrontation became inevitable. On the night before the battle, heavy rain fell across the countryside. The field near Agincourt turned into a sea of mud. English soldiers spent the night cold, wet, hungry, and exhausted. Many lacked proper shelter. Many had barely enough food. Across the field, confidence filled the French camp. Victory seemed certain. Some nobles expected the next day to be little more than a formality. Henry knew better. He understood that his army could not afford a long standoff. Waiting meant starvation. Retreat was impossible. If the English were going to survive, they had to fight. When dawn arrived, the battlefield revealed the one advantage Henry still possessed: the terrain. The field was narrow. Dense woodland bordered both sides. The French could not easily spread out and surround the English. Their superior numbers would be forced into a confined space. Henry positioned his army across this bottleneck. Men-at-arms stood in the center. Longbowmen took positions on the flanks. In front of the archers, sharpened wooden stakes were driven into the ground. Simple defenses designed to stop cavalry charges. Across the valley, The French deployed in several large lines. Thousands of armored men stood shoulder to shoulder. Mounted knights waited on the wings. More troops filled the rear. It looked like an unstoppable wall of steel. Yet there was a problem. The battlefield was already working against them. Heavy armor provided excellent protection, but it also added enormous weight, and every step through deep mud required more effort. The larger the army, the more difficult movement became. For a while, neither side advanced. The French believed time favored them. The English could not remain where they were forever. Henry understood this, so he forced the issue. The English line moved forward, not far, just enough to bring the enemy within range. Longbowmen repositioned their stakes. Then came the first volleys. Arrows filled the air. The French cavalry on the flanks began moving first. Their goal was simple: ride around the English line and destroy the archers. But the ground immediately slowed them. Horses struggled through the mud. Formations lost speed and cohesion. As they advanced, English arrows rained down upon them. Some horses were hit, some riders were wounded, others lost control entirely. Chaos spread through the attack. Instead of smashing the English flanks, the cavalry began colliding with its own troops. The assault was already falling apart. Meanwhile, the main French force continued forward. Thousands of armored men-at-arms advanced through the narrowing field. Arrows continued to fall. The strongest plate armor often stopped direct penetration, but the volleys still caused damage. Horses were vulnerable. Gaps in armor could be struck. Men became exhausted simply pushing forward through the mud. By the time the French reached the English line, many were already struggling. Then, the real trap revealed itself. The front ranks encountered the English defenses, and fighting began at close range. Men pushed from behind. Those in front had nowhere to go. The mud slowed movement. Fallen soldiers became obstacles. The weight of armor became a burden. The second French wave continued pressing forward, compressing the men ahead of them. Instead of strengthening the attack, they made the situation worse. The French army was becoming trapped inside its own mass. Henry saw exactly what was happening. The English line held. The French continued to crowd together. Then the Longbowmen changed roles. Many dropped their bows. They grabbed axes, mallets, knives, and other weapons. Moving far more easily through the mud than heavily armored knights, they attacked from the flanks. French soldiers found themselves fighting enemies they could barely reach. Every movement required effort. Every stumble risked disaster. The battlefield became a nightmare. Some men were crushed by the pressure of those behind them. Others fell into the mud and could not rise. Still more were struck down before they could effectively fight back. What should have been a display of French strength became a deadly bottleneck. At the center of the battle, Henry himself fought among his men. The English line refused to break. Meanwhile, confusion spread through the French army. Rear units struggled to understand what was happening ahead. Crossbowmen and supporting troops had little room to operate. The battlefield was clogged with men, horses, bodies, and equipment. As losses mounted, morale began to collapse. Those who could retreat started pulling back. Others remained trapped. The final French formations saw the disaster unfolding before them and hesitated. Many never fully committed to the fight. By early afternoon, the outcome was clear. The French attack had failed. Thousands of French soldiers lay dead or dying. Many belonged to some of the most important noble families in the kingdom. English losses were dramatically lower. The result stunned Europe. Agincourt became one of the greatest victories in English military history. The battle demonstrated the power of disciplined longbowmen. It showed how terrain and tactics could neutralize overwhelming numerical superiority, and it proved that confidence alone could not guarantee victory. The French possessed more men, more nobles, more resources. Yet those advantages disappeared once the battle began. Mud slowed them. The narrow field trapped them. The English longbow disrupted them, and their own crowded formations helped finish the destruction. At the center of it all stood Henry V, sick, outnumbered, far from home, yet victorious. Agincourt transformed him into a legend and became one of the defining moments of the 100 Years' War. It remains a reminder that battles are not always won by the largest army. Sometimes they are won by the commander who understands the battlefield better than anyone else.